And ladies and gentlemen, we're back here at US Quidditch Cup in Salt Lake City. Don't know the number, which is why I skipped it. Is it 13 or 14?
Well, 13? I heard that they just switched to the year now, just calling it
US Quidditch Cup 22.
2022, you know. I believe, so 12 I think was the last one. Then they had some Quidditch Cup at home, which was 13 possibly. So
also
maybe this is
whoever won
14.
that national championship taking it home for sure. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, I think that was like Among Us or some video game like tournament.
Among Us.
Yeah.
I'm Ashton G. Lewis.
And I'm Justin Bogart.
We got a club game here for you, ladies and gentlemen, officiated by Twin Cities Quidditch. So if you see some guys with some very frosty-looking jerseys on, that is what you're seeing out there. Austin Pitt's one of those people that you'll see. He is either head reffing or assistant or lead assistant ref. We'll find out here in a second. But Mile High Quidditch, straight out of Denver, Colorado, who probably had the shortest drive here other than Salt Lake City Quidditch. So we got them.
They're in blue.
Versus Red Pandas. They'll be on the left-hand side of your screen. Red Pandas will be on the right.
Yeah, Boston Red Pandas in red. Their name kind of gives away their colors.
And they're also their jerseys. If you get a close enough view, which you can only do live here at US Quidditch Cup, so you'll have to come next year if you're not here this year. But if you go to their jerseys, there's just a red panda that has its arms open trying to give you a hug. I will point this out. One thing as an athlete, one of the more terrifying things is the person who meditates. And Mile High had a player who was doing it earlier, number 22. So keep an eye out for him. Playing chaser. Not starting out here just yet, but he had the headphones on, the legs crossed, and the hands, and he did not move for about 20 minutes. So.
All right, so it seems like we're about to start here. The starters are on the line with their knees down.
If you're wondering if you have completely missed all of today's action, don't worry. I have a game at 8:30 p.m. tonight, so 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. So we'll be here all day, all night.
And it looks like Mile High is going to start with both bludgers, and Boston Red Pandas going to start with a bludger and a quaffle.
Mile High, a full-on club team. Red Pandas, a developmental team is the term that I would like to use. They are the, not sub-varsity, but basically the old school term B team for the Boston Pandas, who are the guys walking around, black jerseys, red streak down the middle there.
Yeah, Boston puts forward a lot of Quidditch players, so they have enough for more than one club team.
When you hear about all those trophies they've won and how close they've come to beating Austin all those times, are you surprised? No.
Yeah, definitely got a lot of players to play against if you're from Boston. All right, and we're starting here. Boston Red Pandas with the quaffle, walking up the pitch. We'll see if the sun's kind of glaring in our eyes here, so we'll see if that affects the play here.
Denver running a 2-2 zone, by the way. A missed beat from number 22 from the Red Pandas may set up an errant throw. Pump fake, taking on number 20.
Pass behind, pass back, in front is not handled by the Red Pandas. Mile High picks it up.
And on a
fast break. And shot it on the top hoop is good. So that's 10-0 for Mile High.
It's an interesting situation going on there. He chose to not score on
the
small hoop on the left-hand side. But he's like, no, I want that hoop.
Yep, faked everyone out, but it went through. Counts as 10 points.
And a little hustle goes a long way, kids. That one, a prime example of it. Denver still has possession.
Yep.
Gut throw up front, and there's actually
all the bludgers are on the ground.
The bad no bludger situation.
Yep. All right, Boston's passing it behind the hoop. Good ball movement by Boston.
Ooh, nice one-handed snag there.
Oh, good wrap, though. And the ball is on the ground.
Ball carrier there, number 6, I believe, for the Boston Red Pandas, taken down and lost her broom and the quaffle out of bounds, so Denver will have a chance here. Denver scored on a fast break in their first possession of the game, and it was off defense. We'll see what they pull off here when they have to run their half-pitch offense. They do have bludger control.
Yep. So the beater's kind of walking the quaffle player up the pitch.
Huge advantage for Red Pandas. One of the hoops just fell down.
Oh, yep. So they got 2 hoops to work with. The wind kind of helping Boston with some defense here.
Great,
That was
great
a good
movement.
beat.
Yeah, once again, good job getting the ball behind the hoop, but going for the already covered hoop is never going to be the move for you if you're a chaser. Make it as easy as possible for yourself. I know they gave up that space to the inside. That was the reason they let you run that way, is because they wanted you to run into the person covering the hoop instead of the wide open one slightly to the left of you.
We'll see. Boston Red Pandas really going to want to try and get bludger control.
And Denver not
here,
playing around when it comes to throwing that ball back.
Yeah. Mile High's doing a very good job in keeping the possession and control of the bludgers, making it very hard for the Red Pandas to find an opportunity to get to the hoop and score. And we have a stoppage of play here.
That might be a bludger turnover. Number 6 for Mile High Quidditch raised his hand, and in the process of dismounting his broom, I don't know how as a ref you can call that, but hey, you know, you do what you got to do. He lifted his hand up to let you know that he wasn't on broom, and it manipulated.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it manipulated their possession of the bludger, which was tough. But I mean, it happens. Like,
yeah. But so what that did, bludger turnover, but Mile High still has control of both bludgers. So
yeah, regaining possession over there.
Still up, and that was a block.
And
and
first
it
critical
looks
error.
like Boston may come up with control. Yep.
First critical error here for Mile High Quidditch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and the shot sails too high above the top hoop, goes out of bounds. Turnover to Mile High.
And it's
no bludgers. It looks like they're looking to fast break. Pass to the left side, pass to behind the hoops. Let's see if they can pick up the loose ball. Good pickup by Boston. Good wrap and tackle by the Boston chaser. Still no bludgers though. And there we go, finally. Too long with a no bludger situation. It's gonna end most of the time with a goal.
No doubt there. Denver made it look a little bit more complicated, but they're back at full strength. 29 eventually got the ball back after making that initial pass in transition. Got the ball back and finished at the hoops. Love to see that.
So it's 2-0 Mile High Quidditch Club.
Denver doing a good job of recycling those chasers up there to make sure that they have an opportunity to keep the quaffle carriers far back as possible.
All right, pass behind the hoops. Was that blocked?
It was not.
Okay, that went through.
That shot hit off the bottom of the hoop there.
Okay.
And once again, great execution by the Pandas, just not finishing.
Yeah.
Denver looking for a 30-point lead here as they come down the pitch. Rotating some subs in. Quaffle's on the far left-hand side. Don't know if you guys can see it based off of the positioning of the sun here in Salt Lake City, but Quaffle's on the far left-hand side. Beater goes up, tap beats someone.
Oh, floater shot. Goal ref was calling that good, but the head ref waves it off, so not a goal.
No doubt. Red Pandas gets a defensive stop, and now they're working their way back in here. Working their way up the pitch. They do not have
that was
illegal playoff pitch for that bludger.
So it looks like a wing chaser for Boston may have swatted a bludger.
And we'll see what the call is there, but also see if there's any call on this beater that was over here kind of playing out of trying to play out of play. I'm sorry, out of play.
Well, no, the Mile High beater beat this chaser for Boston Pandas, chaser number 20.
Gotcha.
And the chaser, in the process of dismounting, swatted the bludger off pitch. So that's why.
Which is just a tough look.
The chaser got a blue card for bludger swatting.
Red Pandas with an opportunity to score. Let's see if they can finish. They can.
Nice.
Good agility there. Trying to see what number that was on that jersey. Red Pandas down a chaser for this possession due to the card on their last trip down on offense.
So let's see if Mile High can capitalize on this power play here.
Shot up top. Oh,
yeah.
Great pass.
They found the open quaffle player as a result of Red Pandas playing a person down, and easy goal in the far hoop there.
And once again, the middle hoop is having a tough day out there. Leading just a little bit. The goal ref, shout out to them for going out there and making the adjustment for it to make sure that Red Pandas has a fair shot at scoring on it. Driving middle, looking for it again.
All
and
right.
that'll be back to back.
Nice.
Oh, almost was.
All right. There we go.
And that's number 80 for the Red Pandas. That's back-to-back goals for him.
So we have, it's now 30-20.
Number 80 for
Mile
the
High.
Red Pandas out there.
Number 80 is Joel Hauerwas.
We're going to go with that one. There we go. And just like that, the Red Pandas are back in this one, down just by 10. Throw up front. Nice beat by Mile High beater.
Boston has control for this defensive possession. So we'll see if they can get a stop here. Oh, nope. Good mid-range shot from Mile High.
And if you saw on that possession
player.
just before, number 7 for Denver, number 12 for Denver was able to gather up the quaffle, dodge a beat at the same time, and that's what left that, that's what created that opening for them to be scored on.
So this is offensive possession for the Boston Red Pandas where they happen to have bludger control. So we'll see what they can do with the beaters leading the quaffle player up the pitch, see if they can open up a lane for these players to have an opportunity to shoot and score.
And a nice beat behind the hoops, and that's going
we
to
have a
turn
no
over
bludger
control.
situation for a bit here. Nope, now Mile High picks up the bludger.
Taking that beater screen, which has become very common amongst not only college players, but some club players as well. Driving middle, backspin. Oh, he sold it. He gave it away too quickly there. And a great block up front, not in the most conventional manner, as number 1 takes a beat to the, takes a quaffle to the face to not only get the defensive stop, but also gets the bludger. I call that a win-win, no matter how you get it done.
Right, so Boston still has possession of the quaffle, but they have now lost bludger control, so Mile High now has both bludgers, looking to stop the Red Panda drive here.
And with the addition on a great swat and poke out of bounds, it's going to be possession for Mile High, because it did go out of their side playing for a defensive possession. But I will point this out. One thing that I really enjoy about the new rules added into the game with the addition of 2-arm tackling. A lot of teams find themselves in a situation where you have to have that next step beyond your beaters winning against the other beaters. You have to have the willingness to drive in, take contact, and be able to score. People are making that a thing because players are getting better, players are getting more familiar, players are playing with more strategy and direction. You have to be willing to take contact, because sometimes the answer is very simple to your problems. It's just run straight through people.
Right, it's also harder to, just make it to the hoops if you're trying, the other
As
players.
we're looking at number 19,
that looks like a low wrap there.
That is going to be a yellow card, and he might be lucky if it's not a red. Like that was egregious. If you didn't see it on the live stream, we got a chaser tackle, and you're not allowed contact below the knee, and it's considered dangerous. It is going to be a yellow. You call that one lucky because he actually grabbed his ankle and then looked like he twisted it. He held on to it while he was spinning around
for a while.
Yeah, that's never gonna fly.
And it was right in front of the head ref too. So not gonna miss that.
Not even at the bottom of the pile. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
and this in theory,
Mile High has the quaffle, both bludgers. The third bludger's on the ground. So we'll see if they could just drive to the hoop and score. Yep.
And even then, we just talked about that number 21 for Boston Red Pandas still was able to go out there and make contact with number 19 to try and affect a shot. Like that's something that wasn't originally within the game just a couple of years ago, and now teams are getting more aggressive on defense because they don't have to worry about making sure they only keep one arm. Jumping over a beat there, and it may flip control. It does not. Yes, it does.
Shot went a little too high on the hoop. A little bit of friendly fire with a beat
strange.
there.
I think that was a misfire. Completely ripped it right into your teammate's chest. It's a little cold out here, so that might have stung a little.
Yeah, that looked like it stung, but they keep possession of the quaffle and tried to shoot, but it sailed over the hoop there and turn over to Boston.
And Boston,
Pandas.
a team that has line changes. They got whole lines of people coming in and out of the game constantly. And there's definitely going to be assessment here. We're at the halfway mark of the initial 20 minutes before snitch on pitch comes through and activates, and then that's when things get a little interesting.
Yes, it's a close game here. It is 40-30 Mile High, and now it is 40-40, all tied up. Boston Red Pandas able to come back here.
And number 5 for the Boston Red
up.
Pandas with that score there. After bobbling the catch initially, you would imagine that he was going to get beat pretty almost instantly, and it just didn't happen. Boston Red Pandas, who struggled to get bludger control at the beginning of this game, and now had it through the last 2 lines. So.
Able to crawl back in it now and tie the game back up.
Now this is an interesting move here. As you can see, the keeper for the Red Pandas is way off of his own hoops here. They're technically running a 2-2 zone where the keeper is in help position. So if you throw over in that direction, he goes and picks up anybody that's off of the pass. So yeah, and that it looks like it's going to create a turnover here in a second unless Denver does something. And
that's a reset used, I believe. Once you pass midfield, you're not, if you run back over the midfield line, it counts as a reset. You only get one of those per drive.
And number 19 with the score there. That's his second one here today. Number 22 for Mile High there ran all the way back beyond the mid-pitch line and kept his motion in one smooth, continuous motion. So he's actually able to run through through the half-pitch line all the way through the keeper zone line until he gets out of bounds if he so chooses to. But if you come across half-pitch, stop, look around, and then keep running towards the keeper zone, that's your second reset, and it instantaneously turns the ball over.
All right, so the Boston Red Pandas blocks a beat, but then the beater gets the bludger right back, beats the Panda Quaffle player and gets it. But now I don't know, all the balls are on the ground right now.
There was a little funny exchange there between the ball carrier for Red Pandas and the beater that was coming up. She was like, are you going to go low? You're going to go high. You're going to go low. You're going to go high. And then eventually she won that one out and was able to actually flip control back to Denver because she beat out the Red Pandas carrier who had the ball. So that's good.
All right, so
diamond formation.
Boston Pandas are swinging the ball around the top of their half-court offense, trying to spread the Mile High defense around, see if they can get an opportunity.
Coming over, and number 6 doing a good job.
All right,
of
and the
applying
beater
pressure.
cleans it up.
Hey, making a pass there. That's a great
has a
one.
fast break opportunity and easy dunk. A little bit of flair there by the Mile High chaser, number, 29?
And I'm trying to see the beater from Mile High who pulled that off. And Boston Red Pandas are going to call a timeout. They'll have 1 minute to talk this one over, but the beater play the last couple of minutes for Denver has been on point, and it created the opening for that fast break there. So far, Mile High has looked like a club team of adults. They just haven't been able to get consistent defensive stops. It'll be interesting to see what happens during snitch on pitch.
Yeah, so it is now 60-40 Mile High. They've scored 2 unanswered goals because of their quality beater play, opening up fast break opportunities for their quaffle players.
And a couple of guys I've seen from Mile High, number 19 has been doing one heck of a job out there as well.
Yeah,
he scored 2 goals, so he scored.
Give a shout out. Number 19 is Matt Mangio.
Let me give it.
Matt. We're gonna go with Matt.
Matt Mangio, who has scored 2. Who has scored 2 goals in this matchup. This is their 9th season playing Quidditch.
Wow,
been in the game for a long time. They didn't list what college they went to, but pretty impressive.
That is.
And Mile High's got a strong showing here, man. They came down to Houston. They came down to Huntsville, Texas, which is an hour outside of Houston, Texas. Came to Breakfast Taco to train up against the Southwest teams and stuff like that. So that was pretty good for them overall. good to see they're sticking with it. They've actually been probably, from what I've heard, they've been one of the teams that has traveled the most outside of their region this season. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're in Denver, Colorado, and there's not like a massive Quidditch community in this area. There's Salt Lake City, which is not too far from, but that's still quite a drive to play one opponent instead of a tournament. So let's see what Boston does here. They are coming out
of their timeout. I think that was a good time to call a timeout. It looked like Mile High was
and they got some subs in here as well.
Yep.
Overextending of the 2-2 zone has set up a beat. Number 10 for Boston is now taking up the 2 top chasers.
All right, here we go. And shot. Oh, that was a great shot. Went straight through the small hoop.
For our soccer fans out there, that was a perfect bar down. Bar down on that one. Hit the top of the hoop, hit the underneath portion of the hoop, and it flipped it straight down.
So, good offensive possession out of that timeout to get, you know, a score there. Kind of answer the momentum that Mile High seemed to be building before the timeout. And
Justin, you've been playing Quidditch a long time, man.
Yes, I have.
The addition of the timeout, even if it's one-minute timeout, have you seen like the impact that it's had on a lot of teams, right? Because in years past, it was if there's an avalanche of points coming, no pun intended with talking about Mile High or anything like that, but if there's an avalanche of points coming,
yeah.
What can you really do?
Honestly, I forget you can call a timeout still. Like, I'm just like, oh, yes, when teams call a timeout, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a thing that they can do. Yeah, definitely just to get that breather, too, because it's, you know, it's tough to constantly sprint up and down the pitch. So just to get that breather, recoup, get that strategy. And we saw that out of that timeout, Red Pandas was able to get a score there.
And another good cleanup by the beaters for Mile High there as they saw their keeper come off his hoops, make that tackle, wrap him up here. Let's see, we got a new beater combination into this game so far. And a new chaser coming in as well. We got 5 minutes until the 20-minute intermission.
Yep.
Mile High, by the way, in case you're wondering at home, their jerseys are blue with the Colorado symbol on it with wings, like you see on a snitch, and then the city of Denver with the mountainscape on the back. So that's with that white band around everybody's stomach area. It is a mountain behind the cityscape.
We have a stoppage of play here.
Like to give
turnover, probably turnover to the Red Pandas.
And once again, Red Pandas looking for, they have forced a turnover of, a missed beat there. Actually will maintain bludgeon control for Mile High as they are now sending chasers back to the hoops here. Let's see how high this pressure gets as the 2-2 zone is only as valuable as how much space you can defend. So a lot of people tend to play a little bit further back. Some people try and play it a little bit higher than they actually should to force people to make passes back and forth, but we'll see if it works out
right
for
here,
Denver.
Boston Red Pandas drives and shot is...
Now there's a conversation.
See what the refs
There was a sharp
say.
decline on that shot after it contacted and came past the hoop zone area, so it makes you think that it possibly flicked some part of the hoop and hit down.
Assistant refs are calling, they had a better eye on that, it seems like, and went through the hoop and confirmed good by the head referee. So we're now all tied at 60-60.
And that's 20 points on 3 possessions for the last.
And it looks like the Red Pandas got control on this possession.
Yeah, and once again, like I was saying, 3 possessions on offense, 2 goals for the Boston Red Pandas since that timeout. That's called that's high-level efficiency right there. And Denver going to stick with the 2-2 zone. If you're wondering what the 2-2 zone and how you designate it is at home, there's 2 people standing on the hoop line here, and now that there's a person beat, there's going to be a drive. Oh, man, that actually...
All right, and that went through the...
They were going to call that good, or it was going to be illegal contact by a chaser who knocked it out through the other side. And now another drive from Denver and another goal.
Yeah, Boston Red Pandas needed to get back on D a lot quicker than that.
Yeah, and once again, you talk about something that happens when you're like a lot younger in the game.
Yeah.
You revel a little too much in a continuous game like Quidditch about 1 goal.
We have a timeout from Mile High here.
Oh, Denver using their timeout before snitch on pitch. Interesting. I'm a big fan of whoever pulls and then you call a timeout because it gives a huge break in time. Anytime and I'm the head coach of the Houston Cosmos, a Houston-based club team, my objective is to, one, save it until snitch on pitch, and then find a time where something is already stopped. Like multiple times today we've had a snitch have to get his shorts replaced. And so I'll go walk out and stand by the referee and wait for the snitch to get his new shorts. And this whole time your team is resting, they're recuperating, all that kind of stuff like that. If you've done your job, you don't really have to talk too much strategy. But then when the snitch is ready to play again, you just call timeout. So, and then you get another free minute out of a break that was multiple minutes. So I'm always trying to find those kind of opportunities. That's how I use my timeouts. But I understand others like to play Quidditch because of its fast-paced in nature, especially now with the new rules added in.
Yeah.
We got a warning today. I'm sure you got it too from your captains about for Lost Boys. You got the warning about like, hey, any attempt to stall will be called a card.
Yeah.
You'll get a warning, then you'll get a card, and then everything after that, we're just going to keep throwing the cards at you. So they're like, move up the field, get up the field. So we're just a little bit under 3 minutes.
We have 3 minutes left before intermission, and the snitch comes out.
And the keeper waiting with bated breath to sub out and in.
The keeper subs out right when we resume play here, and Boston has control, bringing up the quaffle at a tie game, 70-70.
And a great job on the part of the beater partner for the Boston Red Pandas, number 22, to help his partner out.
Pass behind the hoops, and okay, and the dunk was before the beat could happen.
And once again, that's the second time number 20 for the Boston Red Pandas is caught in that position, driven in. The first time he got beat too soon. I think he learned his lesson. He started driving a little bit faster instead of hesitating.
The beat was close to being there, but they called it the quaffle pass to the hoop before the beat was able to.
The thin line between winning and winning.
Yep.
You know, winning and losing. So, ball,
right.
And looks like there's a bludger definitely going off pitch now. And it looks like control is back with Denver.
Nice play by the Denver Mile High Quidditch Club beaters to get control back.
Number 10, the chaser there, even though they bobbled the ball slightly, they're still sticking with it. But Red Panda's going to use it as an opportunity to walk the ball up the pitch, walk the quaffle up the pitch, and have it protected by their beaters to prevent anybody from picking it up.
But they're still going against two bludgers, so.
And two of those bludgers are out of play.
Yep.
Oh, he got him that
time.
He
got him. All right, so.
Looks like Martinez.
Looks like the Red Pandas were able to capitalize on the opportunity where the bludgers are on the ground.
A flurry of play there. Number 80, who had scored 3 goals already for the Boston Red Pandas, drives in, takes too long to score, gets beaten in the back. And then number 20, who we just mentioned before, scoring from behind the hoops, recovers it on the rebound and goes for the center hoop, and then they finally punch that one away. A lot of goals can be found in Quidditch if you just keep hustling. Denver going to get a sub in here. Number 36. Number 36, my bad. Stack.
All right, so now Boston, Denver was able to get the
back with Denver again.
Control back. So now let's
there's
see
about
what
to be a card called. There's a bludger that just rolled off pitch as he was trying to return it to his partner. I guess they stopped it beforehand. That seemed like it was kind of textbook there, but.
So we'll see what. That was a little bit of a swat there, it seemed like, but.
Oh, a
beautiful
form on the tackle. But hey, kids. Sometimes the girth pays off there. Martinez not only held his ground, activated his core, but kept retreating backwards until the tackler fell off.
Yep. All right, so this is going to be the last possession before intermission. And they pass it, and right to a
that was interesting.
Chaser on the wing that was kind of guarded by a beater.
So I think the plan there was they didn't feel comfortable driving in with their 2 bludgers, using their 2 bludgers to score. so they thought they'd just throw that possession away.
Yeah.
And they threw it to a chaser who they knew that they were going to end up beating. When in actuality, I think that chaser may or may not have gotten he didn't get the call. So they dropped back, and now the two bludgers are right in the middle of the pitch over here. They're going to start already in front of the in front of the Red Pandas. Most of their chases will still be in play. So, yeah. They're going to have a conversation here. Current score is 70-90 in favor of Denver.
All right, so that means the set score should be 160, I believe. So
Denver has been doing a good job in terms of the bludger control here. They've been able to work it back to themselves multiple times throughout the course of this game. So,
yeah, it's surprising with the possession of that bludger control. They're still, down by 2 goals. So Boston's definitely done a great job in capitalizing on the few possessions where they have had control and getting those goals.
And I know it didn't look like your typical explosion of offense, but you look at the last 3 possessions for the Red Pandas, you look at 3 goals. That timeout made a huge difference for them. And I know they had to burn it early, and that's always tough when you have to do it before snitch on pitch happens. But you do it to prevent situations where that momentum keeps building, and then Denver becomes unstoppable in the second half, and the lead gets too big to even surmount with the snitch catch. Right? It's always tough to go into snitch on pitch. One, just being the team that's down, even if it's by 1 goal, it's tough to go into snitch on pitch doing that. But to go in down by more than 3, more than 4, means that your snitch pull is only going to cover – the snitch pull's not going to even tie you, right? You got to come up with about 7 more goals on your own.
All right, so we have the snitches ready to go onto the field here.
And number 6, Marsh, is the seeker for Mile High Quidditch, and he's going to get beat immediately by number 66 from the Red Pandas. A loose quaffle, number 10 for Denver comes up with it, and they are being actually there's a scrum for the ball versus number 20.
And Boston comes out with the quaffle. That's
there may be contact on the neck there at the bottom of that scrum. Red Pandas going to work their way back, Yeah,
very nice keeping possession there for Boston.
Beat up top, and now calling for immunity. 66 doing a good job of taking out the chasers, then working to the beaters.
All right, the bludgers on the ground, and nice shot through the tall hoop. Good offensive possession there for Boston.
And now Boston leads by 30 here.
All right, Mile High looking to bring the ball up. Just passed it straight to a chaser that was kind of right near a beater.
He was too deep. He was too deep into the field of play. He was inside the beater's zone of range and throwing, and he had a clear path. There was no defender even standing in front of him. Throw from 20 to 80, who, by the way, have scored the last 5 goals for the Red Pandas here.
Pass behind the hoops for Boston, and finds it. Oh, their way to the medium-sized hoop. Dunks, puts her hand through the hoop.
And there
stoppage of play.
And oh man, Denver may have pulled here. We'll see. There was a slight hesitation on the part of.
So that brings it 105 Mile High to 110 Boston Red Pandas.
And that was a pretty good time out there for the snitch overall. When you get that kind of appearance, especially with the beaters in play, there's usually one seeker. He just celebrated the snitch, by the way. That yes, you just heard was the snitch celebrating when he got his time. So we're all improving here. Even the snitch, who, by the way, worst comes to worst, the snitch can always win the game by not getting pulled now because the set score is set up. So
now it's pretty much a tie game here, almost. 105 Mile High to 110 Boston after that catch by Mile High. So that brings them right back into the game.
And now with the gritty work, time to get done, because at the end of the day, there's only one way to get the rest of those points, and it's putting the ball through the hoop. There's no 35-point boost out there. It's only going out there and getting tough. Once again, Mile High has got to adjust where they're locating their passes. That last one thrown down the right-hand sideline, the chaser was far enough away, but the pass was floated towards that person. And then 2, there was no beater to help prevent that throw. And so they're throwing the quaffle into easy throwing lanes for the beaters, and it's showing.
Yep. So Boston needs, I believe, 5 more goals and Mile High needs 6 more goals here. Boston bringing the quaffle of the pitch. Let's see, and they get close enough to dunk in the medium-sized hoop.
And I got to give credit here for number 20 for the Red Pandas. He saw a beater was in pursuit of him, and instead of like cutting towards the hoops, he ran towards Mile High's bench, and the beater still followed him, turned his back to the offensive play, wasn't looking at the quaffle, and right when he beat number 20, the whistle blew because the goal had gotten scored. He pulled without having the quaffle at all. He pulled a beater out of the play. If a chaser without the ball has the ability to influence a beater with the ball, that's a win every single time.
All right, Mile High's passing behind the hoops, but the beaters are right there to lock it down and prevent any real possession happening.
And now that this game, since that timeout, we're starting to see less and less hesitation from the Red Pandas. When that ball goes behind the hoops, they know to throw immediately. They know to get that ball out of their hands as quickly as possible. And then, 2, Denver is definitely helping them out here.
All right, so it's 120, 105. Boston Red Pandas in the lead. They bring in the quaffle up the pitch slowly. They have bludger control. Pass behind the hoop. Shot is a little too high for on the medium-sized hoop there, but their quaffle player is able to pick it back up at the top of the key, so able to maintain possession.
Number 58 for the Red Pandas flashed towards that hoop over there, while the quaffle was closer to mid-pitch than it was.
They tried that same play again, pass behind the hoops. This time that shot is true, goes straight through the hoop. 130 to 105.
Time to see if Mile High's going to make a defensive adjustment in terms of where they're placing their players, because one, Red Pandas is getting a lot of driving time and space, but they're also ripping off shots, and that's tough, man. That's tough. You got to take one of the 2 away. Drive again. And
all right, there we go. Good answer by Mile High to get the lane to drive to the easy dunk on the small hoop.
Mangio on that drive there. Now that's number 3 for Mangio. So pretty impressive day, despite what the score has out there. Once again, diamond formation, that side diamond formation. We call it side diamond because there are 3 chasers up top, 1 to the right, 1 to the left. Number 80 and number 58 are up there, and then to the far hand right over there, I think it's number 32, and behind there's a chaser waiting for that pass.
They like looking for that quaffle player behind, but it just wasn't there on this possession. But they get up now. The quaffle player in the back of the pitch was able to track down that loose ball. Boston maintains possession, uses their reset.
Number 58 drove in there, got wrapped up, and still was able to rip off a shot. It just wasn't accurate, and that is case in point why you should always make contact. Even if you don't think you can wrap the ball arm, still go out there and make contact.
All right, they do find the quaffle player behind the hoop. They try that same pass behind the hoop shot. This time it sails too high. Mile High comes out with possession.
And Mangio is looking like he's trying to go out here and win this game. That's what it really comes down to. Like, he has done a good job of continuing to be the source. He got that block. He got 2 blocks on that last defense possession, scored a goal after coming in immediately, and now he's got the ball up here again. Can't wait to see what he does next, because everybody else has really been struggling for Mile High to get close to those hoops.
Sometimes, you know, you got to take control of the game.
Pass over there.
Pass to the right.
Yep.
Pass behind the hoops. Great find right there by the Mile High quaffle players. Passing, good ball movement. Find the open chaser behind the hoops for the easy score.
And
so
Mangio coming up with that tackle there. I mean, coming up with that great pass, the hockey assist, as they like to say.
Mile High knocks a hoop over, but
and something I don't think we're going to see for a while. Mangio had the hoop wrapped around his body. He was trying to hop out of it after he got that block off, and the shot was taken and made by the Red Pandas in the meantime.
While, the Mile High player was preoccupied with trying to dislodge the hoop from their ankle, Boston was able to find that open shot.
And the score now sits at 140 to 120.
The set score was 160, so Boston Pandas need 2 more goals.
And a nice tackle there.
Mile High needs 4 more goals. Nope.
They're going to call that one no good.
Goal ref calls that no good.
It turned the hoop sideways on the shot, and those are tough because that means that you were accurate. You just weren't as accurate as you needed to be. Now, by the way, this is a singular bludger situation, and it looks like
that goal is
going to be called beat before, and Denver has bludger control.
I mean, Denver's beaters are doing everything that they can. I feel like this game
and that's why it was so important to see Manjo out. That's why
Yeah.
it's so important to see Manjo out there. He was one of the few people who was really making contact. Martinez is back out here too. We saw him drive pretty well. The issue what we were seeing was the passing. The passing was really setting people up for failure.
But that last possession, they definitely passed very well. So let's see if they can. That was a pass to.
And Manjo's now down,
Yep.
and I think we just saw him roll his ankle as somebody rolled up on him trying to complete a tackle. Been there before, as a matter of fact. He's going to hop up, but he's going to have to sub out here because the play was stopped.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a huge loss for Denver. He's going to walk over to the sideline. Hopefully he'll be all right enough to play here soon. Because like you said, set scores 160. We got to score 140 to 120 with Denver down by 4, but Boston Red Pandas only needed 2 more to win.
All right, so the quaffle started on the ground there, but because of the beater pressure from Mile High, Boston Red Pandas couldn't pick up the loose ball from the ground, and now Mile High keeps possession.
Martinez, a guy who we saw score earlier in this matchup, and now there's a beater down for Mile High, and let's see if control stays with
There's
him.
a chaser behind the hoops. Let's see if they can find that chaser. Oh, and they do, and the shot from behind the hoops goes through.
After bobbling and knocking down the pass to be able to catch it, rips one from way downtown, number 29 on that play, getting the goal, and once again, closing the gap. It's now just a 10.
Yeah, this is a very good game.
Yeah.
So we have Boston Pandas need 2 goals. Mile High just needs 3 goals at this point. They call that good. So now
this is game point. Next time Boston's coming down.
So Mile High needs to only have stops now for the rest of the game.
Yeah, they are just 3 away from being able to win, but Red Pandas applying that pressure. Let's see what they can come up with here.
Again, Mile High has bludger control. Just they haven't really been able to capitalize on that bludger control as much as you would like to see.
And it looks like Chicago Skyline has lined up behind us over here.
All right, let's see if they can drive to the hoop.
Martinez taken down.
Again rolls the hoop and doesn't go through. Tough break for Mile High Quidditch Club. Again, the hoop twisted around and the quaffle didn't pass through the plane of the hoop, so no goal there.
Yeah, pressure being applied here, and this is Boston Red Pandas' potential last possession here if they can get this goal. And they already have somebody kind of lurking by that little hoop on the left-hand side. Beater's going to drop down.
All right, here we go.
Pressure coming.
Got to stop. Oh, wait.
Oh, let's see.
Stoppage of play, but that definitely went over the hoop.
See if they're going to call neck contact on this drive here, and that may have been the case.
Nope, turnover.
No. There you go.
Play after the beat, probably. Turnover.
Now a drive coming from Denver.
See.
They need this one. They got to come up with something here. Pass over to the left-hand side.
They're looking to pick up the pace. Bludgers are on the ground. They have a brief opportunity here, but that's a great wrap by Boston Red Panda quaffle player.
Martinez coming up here with the ball carrying situation, waiting for his beaters to come back into full play because he's going to need them if he wants to get close to that hoop.
Good pressure by Boston's keeper, number 80. All right, nice beat, opens up a lane, pass behind the hoop, shot, nice.
The hesitation on that, unnecessary. Ah, man, that made it way more dramatic than it needed to be. That was a really good pass. Martinez drew a beat, and he drew contact from somebody.
Now, if those 2 shots that had twisted the hoops had gone in for Mile High, this would be the game. But because it's a game of inches, those didn't go in.
They did not.
Mile High needs 2 goals. Boston Red Pandas only need this 1 goal. So let's see if they can find the middle of the hoop here and get 10 points and end the game.
And Denver with a quick tag back in.
Oh!
Wow, great job by Martinez to pull that ball almost from going through the hoop.
Yeah,
here.
I was like, that looked like it almost was. All
and
right, Mile High has a
transition.
fast break opportunity. Run it up. Too weak of a shot there. The Quaffle player for Boston Red Pandas was able to intercept it before it went through the hoop.
And remember, Denver did pull the snitch in this matchup here, and they've made this one relatively close towards the end here. And they got to come up with another defensive stop. They're back in their 2-2 zone, and they're playing a little high. The gap between the back line and the front line of Chasers is pretty large, and now they've got number 5 running free. Yeah, that's going to be another penalty for the erratic movement after getting beat. That's illegal interaction after beat there. If you saw number 6, he took a bludger, a tap beat, and spun around and threw his hands up in the air. That one, I understand. The first one was really rough. He lifted his hands right when he got beat and then threw the ball back towards its own hoops. And now with a chaser down, Mile High's got to come up with a stop here. We'll see how this goes.
No, so Mile High still has bludger control, so let's see if they can make a stop.
And a beater tackle up front.
Power play from resulting in a goal, and they do.
Martinez on a run, man. You gotta try and stop him quick.
All right.
You want a chance. He got tackled after he had released the ball, so he's pretty upset about that. Denver still.
All right, here we go. There's still no bludger opportunity for Mile High. Oh, but a good wrap. And now Boston looking to counter. Good block of the bludger by the Quaffle.
That was brutal. Oh, man, if you were watching at home, you saw it too. Number 80 with a pass across the front of the hoops to stop Martinez from being able to tackle him. Somebody intercepted the game-winning goal just now for the Red Pandas.
Yep.
And the Mile High lives to fight another possession here. They're going for the tie. If they can come up with another possession, they can come up with another goal.
5 seconds and the power play is the penalty is killed, and there's no more extra Quaffle player for.
If your teammate steals a game-winning goal for you,
I'm mad.
And it doesn't come up with the finish. Oh man, you got to give him the stink eye for a couple of minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pass behind the hoop.
Good beat.
And it's the same situation. They're making that pass from almost mid-pitch behind the hoops to somebody who's 2 feet away from the hoops, where the beaters are at. That's That's throwing away a possession essentially.
Yeah. Any decent beater is going to just turn around and have time while the ball's in the air just to make their motion and just beat that player out.
Especially when you float it in a giant arc like that and don't do anything to make them come towards you. So that's tough.
All right. So again, Boston Red Pandas still looking for that game-winning goal here.
Back up top, rotating around.
It's been tough to find the inside of the hoop while Mile High has bludger control, but let's see if they try again.
Interesting hesitation for the beater throws up here.
All right, pass behind the hoop. That was a good look behind the hoops, but
and the Red Pandas.
That's just an unfortunate break for Mile High. They made a great block, but it went straight to the Quaffle player on Boston Pandas, who was able to put it through the small hoop there and get the game winner.
And the young kids for the Boston Red Pandas come up with the dub here. Great performance overall. We saw early on in this game Denver really doing a good job with their bludger control, getting more consistent scoring, and then like we've seen so many times, Justin, Red Pandas calls the timeout.
Yeah, that timeout was key.
They're a totally different team.
Yep.
Going into snitch on pitch, and then snitch on pitch flips this whole game on its head.
But so it ended 160 to 145. Boston Red Pandas over Mile High Quidditch Club.
And Denver can't really say that they didn't have a chance. They came up with multiple stops. At the end there, they had 4 stops on defense and came up with 1 goal out of those 4. That's tough.
Yeah, that's tough. And we had those, inches where the ball almost went into the hoop for Mile High and just twisted the hoop and didn't actually go in.
And on the other hand, we had the possessions where we had the ball get thrown right into the clutches of a beater, right into a beater zone. So,
all right.
Boston Red Pandas getting a big win for them, beating Mile High Denver one of the relatively close teams, and I think we're done here, ladies and gentlemen. Next game up looks like it is Skyline. Do not see their opponent anywhere, but Skyline Quidditch is behind us.
There's a Bosnia player.
And what is the Anteaters are here? Anteaters forever.
Ann Arbor Army Ants. Okay. What?
Bosnia. Ooh.
Bosnian Army Ants.
The key question is, what will show up, the Bear Sharks or the Shark Bears?
All
Stick
right.
around to find out.